This slider is guaranteed to blow your mind. Let's take a look. All you have to do is to take it all the way to the left and wait for the magic. Hello, Instagram. It's insane, isn't it? But this is just the beginning. It's that time of the year and Photoshop 2021 has been dropped like a bomb with some of the coolest features. In this video, I'm going to show you the top 21 feature Photoshop has to offer this year. And also for your convenience, this video has been divided into sections and timestamps. You can use these to skip to any feature that you like. So without any further ado, let's get started. The sky replacement is one of the highlight features of Photoshop 2021. All you have to do is to go to Edit and then Sky Replacement. You can choose the sky of your choice using this drop-down. You can also import your own skies, and there are lots of options for you to adjust the skies and match it with that of the image. For example, in the original image, the light is coming from the right-hand side, and in the sky, it is coming from the left. So we can easily flip the sky. Also, if you have a look, there are some halos around the trees, but it has done it perfectly. It is just the halos. So let's open up the foreground adjustments and then try to adjust the light. And it automatically fixes that. You can even take it all the way to the right to absolutely fix that. You can also match the colors of the sky with that of the foreground by simply increasing the color adjustment. And let's take a look how easy that was. You have all the tools and sliders available to adjust the mask, adjust the sky, and also adjust the foreground to match that better with that of the sky. And guess what the best part is? Once you are satisfied and once you hit OK, Photoshop gives you manual control over everything. Every adjustment you have done to the sky, every adjustment you have done to the foreground, you have actual manual control of that curves, or you have actual manual control of that lighting. And if you brightened or changed the temperature of the sky, you would have controls for that one as well. You can modify the mask. It is 100% customizable. Here is another example that I did with the sky replacement feature. Let's take a look at the before and after. So here is the before and here is the after. If you have a look closely, it also retained the birds. It's crazy, isn't it? Amazing feature. Although I love this feature, my only wish is that it would have been great if it also worked with reflections. At the moment, right now, I don't know of any software that does automatic sky replacement also with reflections. Luminar AI is coming out and they have tweeted that they're gonna do it, but I'm looking forward to it and I hope Adobe also supports reflections as well. The next feature is brought to you by Neural Filters. It's a whole new set of super cool AI filters, and the first one that we're gonna talk about is skin smoothing. Alright, so all you have to do is to go to Filter and then Neural Filters. Inside of that, there are some beta filters. We're going to talk about that later. But for right now, let's turn on skin smoothing. Keep in mind, blur controls the skin texture and smoothness controls the overall smoothness of the skin. So I want a little more skin texture. So I'm going to take the blur a little bit towards the left. And if you want more smoothing, take it all the way to the right. I'm going to do excess so that you can see the difference. So let's take a look. Here is the before. And here is the after. Gives a good starting point. I would hit OK. It creates a brand new layer at the top, and then you can use masks to take it away from certain areas. So we can create a mask, take the brush, and just probably I'll remove it from the nose area, and it's pretty much good to go. Here's the before, here's the after. Now let's talk about the coolest feature of the show, and that is Smart Portrait. This feature has a lot of potential. I don't think it's very ready yet, but it's super cool. So let's go to Filter and Neural Filters. As I told you, this is beta, and even Photoshop tells you that. So let's go to beta filters and turn on Smart Portrait. Now keep in mind, this feature works in the cloud, which means that we might have to be a Creative Cloud member, which I'm sure you are if you're using Photoshop 2021, right? You can control the expression. Let's make him more happy, less surprised, and less angry. Now he looks chill. You can also change his gaze, make him look a little bit to the right. You can also change the hair thickness, give him a little bit of haircut, take it a little bit to the left. Heck, you can also change the head direction. So if you want him to look a little bit towards the right hand side, he would move. Crazy. Now make him turn left. Great. And you can also modify the direction of light. So if you want the light to be coming from extreme right, we can do that. And it looks crappy. Let's uncheck that. Just play with these sliders. It is super fun. Once you're satisfied, just hit OK. And then you can always create masks to apply it in certain ways, and it's totally customizable. So here is the before and here is the after. Maybe a completely different person, but this feature is just in beta. Coloring black and white photos has also been easier. So inside Neural Filters, this is still in beta. Let's go to the beta tab and turn on Colorize. And it will automatically try to color it, and have a look. This is insanely amazing, right? Now on top of that, you can color the road. You can tell Photoshop how the road is going to be. So let's pick a gray color-ish thing for the road. So something like this would work, and hit OK. And then you can place this color point right over here, and Photoshop would know how to color the road. If you know the color of the land right there, you can just add a point in the land area and then choose the color of the land. So I'm going to choose brownish color right there. That works, and hit OK. And the land will be filled with that color. You can easily modify the trees to be a little more greenish, that land color. That's absolutely up to you. Maybe I'll make it a little more darker and orange-ish. Now take a look. It changes along with that. And then you have sliders to modify the whole scene as well. The pattern preview gives you a real-time infinite preview of the pattern that you're creating, thus allowing you to create seamless and amazing patterns. Let's take a look. So if you were to create a pattern like a zigzag or like a wave, you would have to worry about whether this pattern is going to be continuous or seamless or not, right? If you turn this into a pattern, see what happens. So if I select it all, and then if I go to edit and then define pattern and hit OK, all right. And then if I add that pattern again by clicking on the adjustment layer icon and then choose pattern, select the pattern that I just created, which was this one. And if we decrease the scale, have a look, it is all broken, right? How do we create a pattern that is seamless? How do we make it easy for us? Just turn on this new feature called pattern preview. Right now, if we go to view and then pattern preview, let's take a look at this. Just hit OK, ignore this. And now when you paint, see what happens. It just completes it from the other side, and now you can join it. Now you know how your pattern is going to look, right? And let's try to create some interesting patterns. And that's all we had to do. If we zoom out, have a look. It is absolutely continuous and seamless. It gives you an infinite preview of the pattern. And if anywhere you feel you need to add something, just paint, even if it is outside the frame. If you paint it, you're getting a real-time preview. Now, even if we turn off the pattern preview by going to view and then pattern preview, have a look. How in the world would you tell that this pattern was going to be a seamless pattern? Therefore, pattern preview saves you a ton of steps. Pattern preview also works excellent with elements like these. So if I want to move anything, it will be moved throughout the entire place. Even if you are moving stuff outside the pattern, if you feel like this thing needs to move a little bit to the left, if you move it, it'll move throughout the pattern. If you change the size of it, you would know how would it affect the entire pattern. A super time-saving and convenient feature, isn't it? This new Photoshop comes with a few quick actions, and you can access them by going to Help and then Photoshop Help. Inside of that, just go to Quick Actions, and you have simple things like remove background, apply it, and it will take the steps to remove the background. And it does a decent job for one button. Let's revert it by clicking on Revert. And there's also blur the background. Let's take a look at that. There are some other ones that you can take a look yourself. Let's hit apply, and it slightly blurs the background. If you want to increase the blur, double click on the Gaussian blur right there and just increase it. Now, I did not expect this from Adobe. Come on, Adobe, you know this. At least you could have used your own content-aware fill to fill it before blurring it, because right now there is some ghosting effect going on, right? This area needs to be filled before you apply background blur, right? But I guess I'm complaining too much. This is just a simple feature for beginners. Let's move on to the next one. Live shapes are more enhanced, which means that you can modify it even more, even after rotating. Let's take a look. So let's say we were creating the rounded rectangle tool, right? And we can control the roundness by using one of these points right there. And the great part right now is, even if you rotate it, just like this, and you apply it, it does no more take away the ability to change the roundness and the length and the width. So right now you can easily change the roundness even after rotating it. You can modify the width and the height. You can do everything. In previous versions of Photoshop, we did have limitations. We also have a brand new line tool. So if we choose the line tool right now, it only has 2 points. Earlier, it used to have 4 points. It was basically a rectangle. And now it just has 2 points. Very, very convenient if you just increase the stroke from right here. There's also a brand new triangle tool. So if you select the triangle tool and if you single click on the canvas, you have the choice to make it equilateral. You also have the choice to draw the triangle from the center where you clicked. So if I check equilateral, it will definitely be an equilateral triangle. You can of course modify it, and also there is roundness control here as well. By the way, you can also change the settings using the Properties tab right here. We have a brand new Help panel, which is finally helpful. So let's go to Help and Photoshop Help. Let's say you were looking for the desaturate function. You don't remember where that is. So let's type in desaturate. And you have desaturate by going to image desaturate. You have the hue saturation adjustment layer showing up. You can use that to desaturate as well. So let's say I want to use this. So it will tell you, you have to go to image adjustments desaturate. It'll point it right over there. It's that helpful. By the way, if you're feeling a little lazy, you can also directly click here. It will do the job for you. The help panel also has some hands-on tutorials. So if we go there and if we search anything like how to change background, it has a lot of hands-on tutorial right over here. So let's go ahead and choose this one and start the tutorial. And now Photoshop will guide you through the software as to how to achieve that. So it says, click on the girl layer, and then it will tell you the next step, which is choose select color range. So if you go to select color range and one by one, it will guide you with everything. Photoshop has now the ability to search presets inside the panels. So let's say you have the patterns panel open by going to window, and then let's open up patterns. And if you were searching for something, you could easily search that. It is searchable. So I can search for tree. So the trees show up. It works with any preset panel. We can go to swatches and it is also searchable. If you had saved the color with a particular name, you can search it. As the name suggests, this feature maintains a history of the versions of the document when you saved it. Now keep in mind, it only works with cloud documents. So let's go ahead and save it as cloud, save it on the cloud by going to file and then save as. Let's choose save to cloud documents. If your dialog box shows up where it saves in a location in your computer, just click on save on the cloud. And I'm going to keep the name as it is and click on save, right? We have saved it once. Now let's say this is looking a little too saturated for me. So maybe I created a hue saturation adjustment layer and maybe I decreased the saturation just a little bit and then saved it again. Okay, by pressing Ctrl or Command S. Then I changed my mind, maybe came later and thought I wanted black and white. So let's create a black and white adjustment layer and then I saved it again by pressing Ctrl or Command S. If you open version history by going to window and then version history right there, it'll have all those 3 stages saved right there. So this one is the one that I saved right now. This is the one which was earlier with a little less saturation, and this is the one with a little more saturation. Now these versions will be deleted after 30 days. So till 30 days, you have a backup. However, if you want to permanently save a version, all you have to do is to mark it. So let's say I like the black and white, I want to keep it. So just mark it, and you can also name it black and white. Okay. And there's also one more version that I like. The first one, you can just mark it or name it, and it'll forever be there. The rest of the versions will be deleted after 30 days. It says versions expire after 30 days. And by the way, if you want to revert to any version, just click on the 3 dots and choose revert to this version. Or if you want to create another document of a different version, you have to choose open in a new tab. The select subject button inside of select and mask has been massively improved. So if we go to select and mask, I'm not talking about select subject outside, but inside the select and mask. And right now, if you click on select subject, it considers and refines the hair as well. Let's take a look with just one click. Let's change the background to on white, increase the opacity, and brilliant, brilliant masking. The select subject now has 2 engines for refining the edge. Take a look. Have a look at the background. It's so complicated, right? So first, let's enter select and mask. And then we will try to select the subject. And in this case, let's change the background to on black. Now the fur is not really masked out properly. So you can take the refine edge brush tool and brush it there, or just simply click on this button, refine hair. That's a new one. We're going to talk about this later. For right now, just click on that button and it does a fantastic job. So as I told you, it has 2 engines, color aware and object aware. Object aware looks at the object, analyzes the object, and on that basis masks the hair or the fur. In my opinion, it is best for hair and fur with complex backgrounds. On the other hand, I would recommend color aware if you have a simple background which is contrasting a lot with that of the subject. If you choose that, in this case, it won't do a pretty good job. See, it just messes up. So in this case, with complex backgrounds and hair and fur, I would recommend object aware. But still, try both. Have a look at this scenario. It has a very simple background and it's contrasting a lot with the hair. So in this case, let's click on select subject and let's change the view to on white. All right. It is pretty good. It's not the best, but it's okay. Right now it is at object aware. If in this case we choose color aware because it's a simple background and lot contrasty. See, it does a much better job. It gets all the hair. And on top of that, you can easily work with the color blend mode to remove the yellow color cast. That's all there is to it. But the easiest thing to do is to try both. Speaking of select and mask, now you can save presets inside of that. So let's say you are dealing with images from the same shoot or similar images. Now what you can do, let's say you want to come down and for these kinds of images, for these cat series, you want to shift the edge a little bit towards the right. See, more hair and fur coming, and maybe you want to feather it just a touch. And you want to keep it this way. If you want, you can increase the radius right there and turn on smart radius. Whatever your choice was, you can save this as a preset by going to preset right there and click on save preset. You can save it as whatever you want, cat 1, and it is now a preset. Now, anytime you open similar images, all you have to do is to choose cat 1 and all of these sliders will be set to these positions. Let's say you spent a little time making the selection of the subject using either the pen tool or the quick selection tool or the object selection tool, whatever tool of your choice. Then you want to get into select and mask to work on the hair. Right now, definitely the hair doesn't look right. So let's go to the view and let's change the view to on white. So we need to work on the hair. So usually what do? We choose the refine edge brush tool and slowly and gradually paint around the hair. And it does a pretty good job. Instead of doing all that, now there is just one button and we already talked about it, and that is refine hair. Click on that and it will automatically do that for you. There's a new tool in town and that is the content aware trace tool. So let's go ahead and select that. It's in the pen tool group, content aware tracing. But to be honest, I'm not so sure about this tool. It only works with very high, well-defined edges. So let's say you have to make a path around it. So first of all, we would work with the details, and just when it has select the whole bottle according to our desire, they'll stop. And now all you have to do is to just click. It makes a path right over there. If you want to add something to it, hold the shift key to add and link better to that line and click. Now if I just add this, see, there's a curve right there. If you want to fix that, you can always check auto trim right there, and it kind of will fix that. And therefore you can create a path around it. So this is a brand new feature. Maybe you'll like it, maybe not. But this is a super fast way to create a path, and then you can always modify the path as well. Now Adobe has a lot of its own plugins in its marketplace, and therefore you have a brand new plugins menu bar. So click on that. Right now I have nothing installed, so we can browse plugins and Creative Cloud desktop applications will show up, and from here you can just install any plugin you wish. So I'm just going to install Watermark 3, hit OK, and your plugin will show up right there. If you go to plugin, there you have Watermark 3. Super cool, isn't it? You have to enter your email address and all that stuff, but you get the point. Now coming to depth aware haze. Why is everything aware these days? Anyway, so you have to go to filter, neural filter. It's also a part of neural filter. It's also inside beta. So let's go to beta filters and you have depth aware haze. It adds haze based on the depth in the image. So let's turn it on and let's increase the haze. You can also make it warmer or cooler. So I'm going to make it a little bit cooler. And if you have a look closely at the distance, there's a lot more haze. The horse which is in the front, less haze. The horse which is a little further away, more haze. So it creates a depth map of the landscape and then adds the haze. The next feature is a little funky, sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So here we have two portraits, the first one and the second one. Let's say I want to apply this makeup to this portrait. I want to transfer the makeup. So let's go to filter, again, neural filter. And inside of that, you would find makeup transfer right there. There are lots of other filters that you can just try, like JPEG artifact, super zoom. You can try it yourself. Let's try the makeup transfer. Let's turn it on. And now we can choose the reference image, which was the other one. Let's choose makeup transfer 1.jpg, which was the other image. Now it will try to apply her face's makeup onto hers. It kind of works. It's a little hit or miss. It's okay in this image. Sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. It's not excellent, but something fun. When you're working with a cloud document, they're obviously stored in the cloud. And every time you open it, most of the time, it loads up the file from its local cache. So if you want to keep that cloud document offline permanently, you can do this. So if we click on the house button right there and we click on cloud documents, I have a couple cloud documents. You can click on the three dots, or you can just check box on all the cloud documents that you want to permanently have them offline, and then choose the option make available offline always. So therefore you won't have to download it again and again, but it will take space in your computer. If you want to change it to cloud only, you can do that. Simply click on the three dots and choose Make Available Online Only. And after a period of time, it will be deleted from your local cache. You can now absolutely reset a smart object to its original state. No matter how much you have transformed it, warped it, rotated it, it can be reset. So I had already made this present smaller. Now if I further maybe make it flatter, maybe right click on it and choose warp and deform it, do some crazy stuff right over here, hit enter. If this is a smart object, which it is, which we can clearly tell by the symbol right there, we can right click on it and choose Reset Transform. Now it is reset to its original state. There's also one more way of doing that. If I just make it flat again, we can also reset from the Properties panel. Let's open that, and all you have to do is to click on the Reset button. If you want to remove something, the Content Aware Fill workspace is way faster to access right now. So let's say you want to remove this. So all you got to do is to make a selection of that area, right click on it, and then choose Content Aware Fill. Super fast, isn't it? Last but not the least, we did talk about all the presets panel having a search bar, but the brush tool also has it. So if we choose the brush tool and we click on this drop down where we go ahead and select the brush, this has a search bar. So if you were looking for spatter brushes, they will show up. Simple, nice, nifty trick. So that's all the ingredients from Photoshop 2021. Let me know which one was your favorite feature in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.